Hello everyone, welcome to this video. This is the fourth video in the GRE Big Book Quant section series. What we are basically doing is we are going through each and every test on the GRE Big Book. This is the Quant series and this is test 2 section 5. There are already 3 videos before this video. So if you want to go in a particular order so that you can keep track of the entire series, you may want to start from video 1. But there is not really any need to do that. You can just follow as you come across these videos. But it is recommended that you go in a particular order so that you derive the maximum benefit from this series. So having said that, let's get right into the questions. All right. Test 2, section 5, 30 questions, 30 minutes. Okay, quantitative comparison, this quantity versus this quantity. Let's see, 4 by 5 minus 4 by 7. Okay, one thing I notice here is that both of these are 7, 5, 7, 5. So let's find everything in terms of 35 as denominator. Okay, so if I want to make this 35, I'll have to make the numerators as 7 into 4, 28, minus 4 into 5, that is 20. So this is going to be 8 by 35. Okay, same thing here, 7 into 5 is 20, minus 2 into 7 is 14 divided by 35. So this is going to be 6 by 35. Okay, so this is 8 by 35, 6 by 35. Answer is the denominator is the same, numerator is bigger here, so the whole fraction is going to be bigger in column A. So that's question 1. The average arithmetic mean of 87, 95, 130, 88, 95, 129. Okay, now there are two ways of doing this. Either you can find out the arithmetic mean, basically you add them up, divide them by 3. Okay, you could do that, but logically if you approach this, you will see that both these series are very similar. Okay, what I mean by that is that these are the numbers basically, right? Plus 130. Okay, now if I want to find out the sum, I'll have to, if I want to find out the average, I'll have to first do the sum, right? The sum here as compared to the sum here. Okay, whatever is the sum here, that sum is going to be one point bigger here because we have a bigger number, but one, okay, I think I got this wrong. This is 129. Okay, so here as compared to this, the second sum is going to be 1 point bigger for the first number, but 1 point smaller for the second number. Okay, so if you add them up, you're basically going to get the same sum. That's the trick in this question. This number here is bigger, whereas this number here is smaller by the same quantity. That's 1 unit. Okay, so the sums are going to be the same. The arithmetic means are also going to be the same. The correct answer is going to be equal. That is answer choice C. Okay, the time it takes James to drive 300 miles at the speed of 52 miles per hour. Okay, so if he's going at 52 miles for 1 hour, he goes 52 miles. Okay, for 52 miles, if he goes for 2 hours, he goes 104. Okay, so essentially what we are doing is to find out the time, you are doing distance by speed, right? If you don't know the formula, you can still work this out logically. If you know the formula, you can directly plug it in. So the time here is going to be 300 miles divided by 52 miles. Okay, what would that number be? I don't know, but that number is going to be somewhere close to 6 and less than 6. Why? Because if it was 50 miles, it would have taken him 6 hours, right? But he's going faster than 50. It's going to take him less time. So let's say this is 6 minus, okay, somewhere less than 6. The time that it takes Leela to drive 240 miles at the speed of 40. Okay, so let's do 240 by 40. That comes out to be a proper whole number 6. Okay, so we have 6 minus here, a number less than 6. We have a number bigger than 6. The answer is going to be answer choice B. Pretty straightforward. Okay, let's look at question 4. Minus 5 raised to 6, minus 6 raised to 5. Now these raised to type of questions can be tricky, and obviously the numbers are not something that you will be able to figure out the number off top of your head. Okay, I mean I don't know what 5 raised to 6 is. I mean I can find out, but I don't know right now. But that's not the point. The point here is, and that's the trick here, is that this is an negative number we are talking about, a negative number, and this is the even power of a negative number. So the even powers of a negative number are always positive, right? Minus 1 raised to 2, minus 3 raised to 4. Here in this case, minus 5 raised to 6. Okay, so this is going to be a positive number. Whereas here, we are talking about a negative power. We are talking about an odd power of a negative number. Okay, so odd powers of a negative number are always negative, right? Minus 1 raised to 3, minus 3 raised to 5, or here in this case, minus 6 raised to 5, right? So here we have one positive number, one negative number. Obviously, the bigger number is the positive number. Answer choice A. Column A is bigger. Okay, let's move on to this question. Miss Rogers bought an electric range on the installment plan. Okay, the cash price of the range was 400. Okay, so that range was selling for $400. The amount she paid was 120 down. So she paid $120 down, and then rest she paid in installments. How many installments? 12 monthly installments of $28 each. Okay, so that's basically what she paid. All right, so I understood the scenario. Let's look at the question. The amount she paid for the electric range in excess of the cash price. Okay, so how much did she end up paying more than 400? That's what they are asking. So let's find out this number. 120 plus 12 into 28. So this is 120. 12 into 28 is going to be 10 into 28 plus 2 into 28. Okay, just for simplicity, I'm writing it like this. Okay, so this is what I have to add. So this 120 plus 280 becomes 400, and this is 56. 456 is what she ends up spending. Okay, the amount she paid for the electric range in excess. Now that's the key here. Excess of the cash price. So how much is she paying more? The cost was 400. She is paying 456. How much is she paying more? She's paying $56 more. 56 compared to 56. Both quantities are same. Answer choice C. Okay, let's look at this question number 6. Circle with center O. Okay, this is the origin of the circle. Length of chord PQ. So this chord, length of chord XY. This chord. Okay, which chord is bigger? If you take a circle, the chord that is closer to the center. Okay, this chord is going to be bigger than this chord. Correct. So we have to find out how far, which length, or rather which chord is farther from the center, and that is given. This is 5.9, this is 5.8. Okay, so 5.9 is farther from the origin. That means this chord is smaller, right? This chord is bigger. So XY is bigger, B is bigger. The answer choice is going to be B. Correct. Okay, let's look at question 7. Nx is equal to 428, n by x equal to 428, n by y is equal to 107. Okay, and n is a positive number. All right. Okay, so let's pick some numbers. Let's pick some numbers. Let's say n is equal to 428. Let's take simple. Okay. So x will have to be 1 in that case. Correct? Then only n by x is going to be 420. Okay. So in that case, what would y be? So y would have to be 428 divided by y is equal to 107. Correct? So y would have to be 4. Correct. So x is 1, y is 4. That is how I am able to put everything in this situation. Okay, which one is bigger? 5 is bigger. Answer choice B. That is one way of doing this. Okay, the other way of doing this is again logical. N is a positive number, right? So I take positive quantity, I divide it by x, I get a bigger number. I take the same quantity, divide by y, I get a smaller number. Okay, so that means y has to be bigger, right? I'm dividing by a bigger number, that's why I'm getting a smaller number. Okay, but this logic works only when n is positive. Okay, if n is negative, it would be the other logic. Okay, so you could do it that way also. The answer would come out to be B. Okay, question 8. L1 and L2 are parallel. All right, 180 minus R. This angle is 180 minus R. So this angle is going to be R. Okay, this is 180 minus R. This is also going to be 180 minus R. Okay, but we already knew that because this angle is R. Okay, so I'm not able to figure out relationship here except that S is equal to 180 minus R. That much I am able to figure out. But will I be able to compare S with 60? maybe it is 60, maybe it is less than 60. uh, this is not really any new information here. It doesn't allow us to connect R and S. So it could be like this. Let's say all angles are 90 degrees only. In that case, S is bigger because S is 90. Or it could be like this. The diagram could also be like this, like a very slanting line where S is, let's say, 10 degrees. Okay, this is 10 degrees. Okay, in that case, obviously 60 is bigger. I'm not able to determine, so the answer is D. It could be in any direction. It could be bigger or it could be smaller also. Okay. Question 9. 6 is x percent of 24. Okay, 6 is what percent of 24? How do you write this? 6 is x percent of 24. You write it like this. 6 is x percent of 24. Correct? That's how you write it. If you do it, what you will get is 25%. Correct? Intuitively also, if 100 is 24, 50 is 12, 26 is 25, 25%. Okay, so x is 25. Okay, I got it. Y is 25% of 96. What is 25% of 96? That's going to be 24 again. Okay, uh, 24. Correct. 1/4 of 96 is going to be 24. Okay. So I have x is 25, y is 24, x is bigger. Answer choice is A. Okay. Let's look at question 10. 2x plus y is less than 3. Okay. And x is greater than 2. All right. Let me just pick some numbers. So x is greater than 2. So let's say x is equal to 3. All right. X is equal to 3. And I need to pick out y now. Okay, so what do I have? I know 2x plus y is less than 3. That means let's do 2x. 2x is going to be 6. 6 plus y is less than 3. Okay, so I am adding something to 6. 6 plus y. Okay, but I'm getting something much smaller. Okay, so I mean, what I'm saying is I'm starting from 6. What should I add so that I end up with a number less than 3? I should at least subtract minus 6, right? Oh, less than 3, right? Sorry. So this is 3. I have to at least subtract 3. So y has to be uh, greater than uh, y has to be greater than 3 in terms of the value. Okay. So absolute value. What I mean absolute value. I need to at least subtract 3. Okay. But let's say pick a number. It could be -4 also. It could be -5 also. Correct? Right. So basically what I'm saying is y has to be less than -3, right? Y has to be negative, and not just negative, has to be less than -3. Okay, so this is going to be a negative number and this is 0, so the answer is going to be 3. Okay, you could have also done it intuitively. Again, x is a positive number, so again this is a positive number, and this is going to be x is greater than 2, right? So this is going to be greater than 4. Correct. 2x is going to be greater than 4. What am I adding to something greater than 4 that will make it less than 3? It has to be a negative number, right? So it has to be a negative number and 0. Okay, so again, as we saw here in this question as well as in this question, an easy way is to pick a number and move on, but you could also do it logically. Okay, question 11. The perimeter of square S is equal to the perimeter of rectangle above. Okay, there is some square here. The perimeters are same. What are the perimeters here? The perimeter of this rectangle is x. So this is side is also going to be x. This is going to be x plus 6 because opposite sides are equal. So it's going to be 2x plus 6 plus 2x plus 6. Correct. So that is 4x plus 12. That's the perimeter. Okay. Here, let's say if the side is y, the perimeter is going to be 4y. They both are same. So basically, 4y is equal to 4x plus 12. That means y is equal to x plus 3. That's what I got. Okay. The side of this square is 3 more than this width of the rectangle. Okay, the length of side S. Okay, what is the length of the square? That is x plus 3. We found that out, right? And here also x plus 3. Both quantities are same. Answer choice C. Okay. 0. Okay, question 12. 0 A B C. Right. So as we discussed a few minutes ago, we can just pick some numbers. Let's say, let's pick easy number 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. B by A. So that's B by A is 2 by 1. That is 2. C by B. C by B is 3 by 2. That is 1.5. Okay. So here I am getting answer as A. But also note that they have not given any more information. So C could have very well been 300 also. In which case, this would have still been 2, but C by B would have been 150. Okay, and the answer would have been B. Okay, we can't really determine. There are always take multiple cases to see if the numbers you have picked up are foolproof. Okay, so this was only one case. This was the other case. I am not able to decide. The answer is going to be D. Okay. C is a circle with radius 3. Okay, so this is circle radius 3. Always be careful whether it is radius or diameter. It's saying radius 3. So this is 3. The ratio of the circumference of C to the diameter of C. Now, ratio of circumference to diameter of any circle is always going to be pi. Okay, but let's say you didn't know that much, or maybe that you didn't that thought didn't come to your mind. Okay, so let's find out. The circumference of a radius of 3 is going to 2 pi r, so 2 pi 3. Okay, a diameter is going to be 2 r, that is 2 3. It cancels out, you get pi. Okay, and what is pi? 3.14, right? And we have 3 here, so this quantity is bigger. Answer is going to be A. Question 14. RT is greater than 0. What does that mean? It means both R and T are positive, okay, or both R and T are negative, right? Okay, so I think this positive negative thing is going to have some play here in the question. Okay, now I'm supposed to compare this. Interesting. So I have RT and everything. Okay, even if I sort of multiply this, in the bottom I get RT, whereas here I'm getting R plus T. Okay, so it's not very straightforward. The easiest question, way to solve this is to pick numbers. Okay, so let me take two cases, 1 comma 1. Okay, and let me take minus 1 comma minus 1, right? Let's say what happens when I get 1 comma 1. Okay, so let me just do it here for simplicity. If I go with 1 comma 1, that is r is equal to 1 and t is also equal to 1, what do I get? I get in column A, I get 3 by 1, that's 1, sorry, 3 by 1 is 3, plus 4 by 1 is 4, so I get 7 in column A. What do I get in column B? I get 3t, that is 3, plus 4r, that is 4, divided by r plus t, that is 2. So I get 7 by 2, 3.5. Okay, all right. If what do I get in case number 2, that is minus 1 comma minus 1. Okay, uh, just to conclude, here column A is bigger. All right, in case 2, what do I get? I get minus 3 minus 4, so that is minus 7. Okay, in column A. And what do I get? Minus 3 minus 4 divided by minus 2. So minus 7 by minus 2 is minus 7 by minus 2 is 3.5. Okay, so in this case I am getting answer as B. Okay, and this much information is sufficient for us to say that I'm not getting any consistent answer. Okay, let's say if you had got consistent answer, okay, just for the sake of it, okay, then I would have also tried with some other numbers. Maybe these numbers were tricky and that's why the answer got the same. I would have maybe tried one bigger number, one smaller number, or something like that. Okay, but here I think we have sufficient information to say that uh, under this constraint, I consider two cases. In one case, I got A as the answer. In one case, I got B as the answer. So overall answer is B. Okay, all right. uh this is sort of geometry question. Okay, three angles are given. I have to compare z minus x. Okay, what is that? Z is this. All right, z minus x. Okay, so let me just compare the compute the angles of the triangle. Okay, what do I have here? I have 180 minus z. What do I have here? I have x because it's the opposite angle, and I have y. Okay. So what do I get? I get x, that's this angle, plus y, that's this angle, okay, plus this angle, which is 180 minus z. The sum of three angles is 180. That's what I got. Okay, so basically what I got is x plus y minus z is 180, 180 getting cancelled, so I get 0. Okay, so now I have need x minus z. Okay, so let me move, sorry, z minus x, so I need to move both this and this to the other side, that I get z minus x. I keep y on the same side, I get z minus x is equal to y. Z minus x is equal to y. Both quantities are same, that means answer is C. Okay, let's look at these questions now. Question 16, 9 square minus 6 square divided by 3. Okay, 9 square is 81, 6 square is 36 divided by 3. What is 81 minus 36? That's going to be 45 by 3 is 50. Okay, answer choice E. You could also do it the other way. So this is a square minus b square form, right? So what does that mean? A square minus b square is equal to a plus b into a minus b. So that is a plus b into a minus b, sorry, 9 minus 6 divided by 3. Okay, so what do I get? I get 15 into 3 divided by 3. 50, 3 gets cancelled, I get 50. The answer obviously is going to be 50. Okay, what is question 17? What is 0.423658 rounded to the nearest thousand? Okay, so let's first understand the thousand, nearest thousand thing. How do you round it off? Okay, we have done one similar question in I think it was question the first test of first test first section, right? Okay, so basically what we do is when we have to round off, let's say I have to round off 63 to the nearest 10th. So I look at this 10th digit, okay, the place value 10, okay, and then you look at the next digit. If this next digit is 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, then I just replace that with 0. So the rounded off becomes 60. But if the next digit is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then I add 1 to this number. Okay. So let's say if this was 67, I would have not kept it as 6. I would have added 1 here and I would have called it 70. Okay. That's what we do. So we have to do the same logic. Okay. Let me just get rid of this explanation. Okay. So I have to do the same logic, but I have to do it for the thousandth digit. Okay, so let me do that. So what is the thousand digit? First of all, let me just write it. 4, 2, 3, 6, 5, 8. What is the thousandth digit? So this is 10. This is after decimals. Okay, 10, 100,000. Okay, so I need to fix this, and I need to look at the next number. Okay, so this is 6. That means I will have to add 1 here. So the rounding off becomes 424. 0.424. That is answer choice. Okay, all right. Question 18. If 3 into x plus 2 is equal to x minus 4, then x is equal to what? Okay, let's solve this. 3x plus 6 is equal to x minus 4. Let's take this x on the other side, so I get 2x. Let's get the 6 on the other side. I get minus, 4 minus 6, correct? So, okay, sorry. This is minus 4 minus 6. Yeah, I missed this. Okay, minus 4 minus 6. So 2x is equal to minus 10. X is equal to be minus 5. Okay, let's verify this. Always verify, plug it in the answer. So what do I get here? If I have to put x is equal to minus 5, x plus 2 is going to be minus 3, correct? And minus 5 minus 4 is going to be minus 9. Is that making sense? 3 into minus 3 is minus 9. Yes, it's making sense. That means answer is correct. Okay, answer choice A. Question 19. If x square plus 2x y plus y square is equal to 9, this should ring a bell. This is the formula for x plus y square. If x plus y square is 9, then what? Then x plus y is going to be either 3 or x plus y is going to be minus 3. Correct? I am supposed to find out the fourth power of that. Basically, I am supposed to find out x plus y fourth power, which is basically the same as square of square. And I already know the square. So square of square is going to be here. 9 square is going to be 81. Right? See, this looks intimidating. Okay. Uh, but it's not. Right? See, these are pretty straightforward questions. And as I mentioned right in test 1, so these are very conceptual type of questions. So if you get the concept, it's really easy to solve these questions. Okay. Sometimes they are tricky though, so it's important that we do practice on a variety of questions. Okay. Question 20. In the rectangular coordinate system above, if x is equal to 4.8, so this guy is going to be 4.8, then y is equal to what? Okay. Uh, one thing we should note is that this is x, these 2 points are on a line. Okay, so the line is going to have an equation, and that equation, the line is going through the origin. Correct? So the equation of line is generally y is equal to x plus c, but when the line goes to the origin, the intercept y-intercept is 0, so y is equal to mx is the form of the line, equation of the line. Correct? So let's find out what if I put y is equal to mx, what do I get here? 2 is equal to m times 3. So the value of m is 2 by 3. Correct? Now I'll put that in this formula. Okay. So here I get y is equal to mx plus c. What is m? 2 by 3. What is x? 4.8. Okay. So 2/3 of 4.8, 2/3 of 48 is 32. So 2/3 of 4.8 is going to be 3.2. Okay. The answer is here is going to be answer choice B. Okay, let's look at these graph questions. There are 5 questions on this graph. National health expenditure for country X 1975 to 86. Okay, $1 billion is this. Okay, generally keep in mind million is 6 zeros after 1 and billion is 9 zeros after 1. Okay, all right. So this is health expenditure, national expenditure. Private versus public national health expenditure as percent of total national health expenditure. Okay. So if 1975, if they spent 100% on the expenditure, whatever that number is, this is in percents. Okay. So out of that, what is this number? 28% was public, 72% was private. That's what this graph is. And the public percentage went up, private percentage went down as time went on. Okay, so note that these numbers have to add up to 100. Okay, because there can only be two things, right? Private or public, so they have to add up to 100. So let's verify that. This is 55, this is 45, adding up to 100. This is something like 65, this is something like 35. They are also adding up to 100. Okay, that's why one is increasing, the other is decreasing. Okay, pretty straightforward. Let's look at the second graph. National health expenditure per capita in dollars. Okay, so now they're talking about per head. What was the absolute number? This is percentage. Okay, this is what was the absolute number spent. 1975 they spent something like $200, close to $200, less than $200 actually, per person on expenditure, and that has been going up. Okay, all the way to 1986 where they spent, I don't know, maybe $620, $630. Okay, okay. See, it's important. See, these are old tests, so these graphs and everything is not so visually appealing. But generally, you will be able to calculate uh, the numbers. Even if you don't know the exact number, you can approximate it, and the answer choices are going to be not so very close. So approximations will work. Okay. So I understand this graph also. Let's look at this. national health expenditure in billions of dollars. Okay, so this is the total national expenditure. Okay, so 140 billions, close to 140 billions they spent in 1986. 1975 they started with something like 38 billion or so. Okay, uh, this is also rising. Okay, so I guess I understand the graph. Okay, let's look at the questions. For how many of the years shown was the amount of private health expenditure at least double the amount of public health expenditure? Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so they are saying private should be more than double public. In how many these? Okay, pretty straightforward. Let me use a different color. Okay, in how many cases was private more than double public? Okay, so uh, this was public, so this was something like 28. More than double of that would be something more than 56. So this is more than 56. Yes, that makes sense. So 1975 is one such year. Okay, let me put a dot here. Here this is 30. More than twice of that would be 60. So this is 70 here. So here also it is more than twice. Then we have something like 38. Double of that would be, okay, so here we have what is this? This is 60. Okay, here we have something like 38. More than that would be 38 to twice, so would be 76. This is not 76. This is less than 70. So it doesn't work here. It doesn't work anywhere further also, because these numbers are all big numbers now. Okay, and how do I know that? Using logic. See, both of them have to add up to 100, right? So x plus, let's say, double of that, right? Public and double of public should add up to 100. When will that add up? Only when x is less than 33%. Correct? At exactly at 33%, the 33% public, okay, 66% private. Okay, exactly at that point the equation makes sense. If public is less than 33, then the equation makes sense. Okay, if public is more than 33, it will, this number will be less than 66 and the equation will not make sense. Okay, so that's why we see that if you draw a line around 33, the first two numbers are the only numbers where this will work. Okay, so that's the logic part of it. So the answer here is basically 2 years. Answer choice C. Okay, let's look at question 22. In which of the years from 75 to 86 was the national health expenditure per capita? Now I'm talking about the second graph. Health expenditure per capita most nearly equal to half the per capita expenditure for 1984. Okay, so I'll have to find out half of 1984 per capita, and then I'll have to find out the year that was closest. Okay, so what is the year 84? Let me first find that out. 84, what was the per capita? 84, the per capita was something like a 480, 490 something. Okay, 84 per capita, 480, 490. So let's say 490. I want half of that, equal to half that. Half of that is going to be 245, right? So I want to find 1 year where that expenditure was closest to 245. Okay, pretty straightforward. 245 is going to be somewhere in the middle. Okay, so is it this year or that year? Okay, like I said, you sometimes you'll have to take approximations. Now you'll have to decide whether it is this year or this year. Okay, so is it 77 or 78? If you look at 78, that is quite close to 300 than to 200. That means it is more than 250. Okay, so the closest is 77. Okay, we could also verify it from the answer choices. Okay, there is no 78 here, so the answer has to be 77. Okay, all right. Question 23, of the following, which is the best approximation of percent increase in the national health expenditure per capita from 81 to 82? So 81, whatever was the number per capita, how much did it increase by? Okay, So 81, 82, let's first get the numbers. 81, 82, 81 was, where is 81? Okay, 81 was this, 82 is this. Okay, so 81 was something like, again we'll have to do approximation. One thing that I can still see is this gap is looks the same, right? So it has to be either 390 and 410 or 380 and 420. Okay, something like that. They are about symmetrical with 400. Okay, I think it is more like 423 80, because if you divide this into 5, 1 2 3 4 5, okay, then it's matching up with that. Okay, so let's go with this. Essentially the question is, if something goes from 380 to 420, what percent increase it has demonstrated? It has demonstrated 40 points increase over the base of 380. Okay, so that means it is going to be something more than 10%. If it was 10%, this would have been 38. Okay, something more than, slightly more than 10%, or the closest answer choice here is D, 10%. They're using approximation. Okay, anyway, see, the answer choices are not very close. I was expecting something more like 11%, 12%. This is 20, this is 5. uh, right, those are far off, so the best answer is D. See, they understand that the graphs can sometimes be tricky. Okay, especially the big book tests, because those are the real old ones. Okay, and those were also paper based, and as you can see, these are sort of the print quality and everything is pretty old. So they understand that you can't get a precise number, so that's why they are asking for approximation, and also the answer choices are quite different from each other. Okay, question 24, of the following, which is the closest to the amount of public national health expenditure in billions of dollars in 1980? Okay, so they are asking for the total amount in billion, uh, amount of public national health expenditure billions in 1980. Okay, so what was the 1980? Oh, okay, okay, right. So you have to get public, okay, not the total. You have to get the total from this graph, okay, because this is the total graph, right? You have to get 1980 total here, then you have to get 1980 percentage for public, and you have to do that calculation. Okay, interesting. Okay, so let's get 1980 total. What was the 1980 total? 1980 total was this, which was this number. Okay, so let's say 68 or 69. Let's take 69 because this looks more like 1/10. Okay, so this was 69 billion. 69 billion. Out of that, I want to get public. What was the public percentage in 1980? 1980 public percentage was 1980 public percentage was this. What is that number? Something like a 38% or something, right? Okay, 35 to 38. Okay, I don't know exactly, but let's say 35%. Okay, amount of public expenditure in billions of dollars. Okay, so we will have to come up with some number for this. So let's say it was 70 billion and 35% of 70 billion. Okay, let's say 33 billion, so that it's easy for us to calculate. So it will be 21 billion off or something, right? More than that actually, because it is actually supposed to be 35%, whereas 31 billion would be more like one third of this. Am I getting it right? Mm, oh, one third, so it will be 22, 23 something. Okay, the closest answer anyway is 25 billion. Okay, and you will see that the other answer choices are also fairly big. Okay, so answer has to be A. Question number 25. It can be inferred from the graph that in 1977, the population of country X in millions was closest to each other. Okay. So now there is no population given in any of the graph. Okay, but we know per capita expenditure and total expenditure, so we can take the ratio. Correct, that will give us the population. So 1977 total divided by total in billion divided by per capita in million, that will okay, now per capita is not in million, per capita is in dollars. Okay, sorry. So per capita in dollars will give me something in millions. Okay, that is for 1977. All right, let's say 1977 the total was 480, sorry, 48, correct, 48 billion, 1977, right? 1977, 48 billion, okay. 1977, the per capita was, I think we have done that somewhere, okay, this number, okay, 250, okay. So what is that number? 48 billion by 250. That's what we have to do. Okay, so let's do that here. 48 billion, that means 48,000, that much million. Okay, I have to get everything in millions, right? So I'm writing everything in millions, divided by 250. 250, I'll write that as 1000 divided by 4. Okay, that 4 will come up. Okay, why? Because then I can just do this calculation. So essentially the answer comes out to be 480 into 4. 480 into 4, right? So let's say 500 into 4, something like 2000, less than that. Okay, 2 480, is it 480? Okay, no, oh, it's not 480, it's 48, right? Sorry, I added 10 extra. That's what happens when you do big numbers. Okay, sorry, 200 or something. That's going to be somewhere close to 200. The answer is going to be 190, right? Okay, let's look at question 26. If x is the number on the number line between 5 and 15, okay, 5 and 15, 5, 15, such that is twice as far from 5 as from x. Let's say that number is somewhere here, twice as far from 5 as from 15. Okay, so it's like that. Whenever there is this as far and everything, I read it again just so that I don't plot something reverse. Okay, the relationship has to be 2xx and not x2x. Okay, sometimes you tend to mess that up. So f is a number on the number line between 5 and 50, that is twice as far from 5. Okay, twice as far from 5 as from 50. Okay, then x is what? Pretty simple. This whole distance is 3x, which is what? 10 units. Okay, so x has to be 3.33 units. So this number is going to be 2 times, that means 6.66 units away from 5. That means it's going to be 11.66. Okay, that is this number. Correct? Did I get it right? Twice as far from s. Okay, actually this is not x. X is the actual number. This is like the distance. The distance here is 2d. The distance here is d. D comes out to be 3.33. So 2d comes out to be 6.66. Add that to 5, you get 11.66. That's the logic. Okay. Question 27. Jane has exactly 3 times as many Canadian as non-Canadian stamps. Okay, so let's say Canadian, non-Canadian. Again, this is as 3 times and everything, as something, as that kind of a phrase. So I'll have to read it carefully. Exactly 3 times as many Canadian as non-Canadian stamps. Okay, so if non-Canadian stamps are X, Canadian stamps as 3X. Okay, what is, which of the following cannot be the total number of stamps? Okay, so total number of stamps will have to be 4x, right? See, Canadian plus non-Canadian is anyway going to be the total universe of our stamps, which is 3x plus x, 4x. So it has to be a multiple of 4. Now, which of the following is not a multiple of 4? Okay, 54 is not a multiple of. Okay, this is a multiple of 4, this is a multiple of 4, these are all multiples of 4. 54 is not a multiple of 4, so answer choice E. Okay, I like how this has been phrased. Decent question. It's an easy question, but I like the phrasing. Okay, let's look at question 28. This is 1 inch, all right, for the bigger square. In the figure above, if the area of the smaller square region is half the area of larger square region. Okay, what is the area of the larger square? This is a square, right? So this is also going to be 1. So area of larger square is going to be 1 into 1 is 1 unit. Okay, What is the area of the smaller square? It's going to be half unit. Why half? Because that is half the area of larger square. Okay. So now let's look at the small square. Let's say the distance, I mean the side is x. Okay. Uh, what is x side? So what is the area? X square. That is given as half units. Okay. That means x is going to be 1 by root 2. The length is going to be 1 by root 2. 1 by root 2 is the length. Okay. Then the diagonal of the larger square is how many inches longer than the diagonal of the smaller square? Okay, let's first find out the diagonal smaller. Okay, this diagonal of smaller is going to be, the diagonal of a square is root 2 times the side. Okay, if you don't know that, you can just do it Pythagorean theorem also. Okay, but let's do it Pythagorean. Okay. For the smaller square, then we'll do the larger square. Okay, for a smaller square, what is the diagonal? The diagonal square is side square plus side square. Correct. Side square plus side square is diagonal square. Okay. So side square is what? 1 by 2. Side is 1 by root 2. The side square is 1 by 2. Again side square is 1 by 2. So you get 1. So diagonal is 1. Okay. Now here let's do d square. Diagonal square is side square, that is 1. Side here is 1, right? Side square is 1. Side square is 1. So d is going to be root of 2, right? You could have also done it directly. Like I said, just multiply by root 2. You would have got 1 by root 2 into root 2 would have given you 1. And here 1 into root 2 would have given you 2. Okay. So what is the question here, by the way? Then the diagonal of a larger square, that is root 2, is how many inches longer than the diagonal of the smaller square? It is root 2 minus 1 inches longer. Root 2 minus 1 inches longer. Where is root 2 minus 1? Yes. Answer choice A. Okay. A little intricate in terms of root 2, root 2, root 2, everything. So you have to be very meticulous. Otherwise, you might mess up. But otherwise, a pretty straightforward one. Okay. A distillate, that's some sort of a liquid. Distillate flows into an empty 64-gallon drum at spout A. Okay. Let's say this is an empty drum, 64 gallon. Okay. This flows into at spout A and out of the drum in B. Okay, fine. If the rate of flow through A is 2 gallons per hour, so this is 2 gallons per hour, how many gallons per hour must flow out? What should be the rate here? That's what they are asking. Okay. Out spout B, so that the drum is full in exactly 96 hours. So to find out how long it will take for the drum to be full. Let's say it takes 1 hour. Let's say, okay. What happens at the end of 1 hour? You get 2 gallons in and you get X gallons out. Okay. Every hour, this much volume is getting added. This much liquid is getting added in an empty drum. Okay. So how long will it take? Let's say it takes T hours. So T hours, every hour 2 minus X is getting added. At the end of the T hours, 64 gallons is added. Okay. That's basically I have to find out. Okay. How do I have two variables now? If the 2 gallons per hour, how many gallons per hour must fill out? Exactly 96 hours. Okay. So this 96 is given actually. Sorry, it's not T, it's 96. Okay. That's why I was wondering why I have two variables. Okay. Uh, so 96 hours, again 2 minus X at the end of first hour, 96 such hours. At the end, I get 64 gallons full. Okay. So 2 minus X is 64 by 96, that's basically divided by 32, so it's going to be 2 by 3. Okay, 2 minus X is equal to 2 by 3, so that is X is equal to 2 minus 2 by 3. Correct. That is 6 by 3 minus 2, so 4 by 3. Correct. X is equal to 4 by 3. 4 by 3 should be getting out. Okay, let's do it just to verify. 2 gallons is coming in, 4 by 3 is getting out, so that means 6 by 3, 2 by 3 is the total answer. At the end of every hour, 2 by 3 gallons is getting added. This happens for 96 hours. What is the total? 32 to the 64. Correct. So I'm getting the same number. Okay, so the answer has to be 4 by 3. Okay, 4 by 3 is the outflow from B. 4 by 3 is answer B. Okay, let me just remove these calculations here. Okay, question 30. A farmer has two rectangular fields. Okay, the larger field has twice the length and 4 times the width of the smaller field. Okay, so let's see, this is the smaller, this is the larger. Let's say this is A and B dimensions. So the larger field has twice the length, so that is 2B, and 4 times the width, that is 4A. Width of the smaller field. The smaller field has area K. That means area is AB is equal to K. Okay. Then the area of the larger field is greater than the area of the smaller field by what amount? Okay. What is the area of the larger field? It's going to be this into this 4B into 2A. That's basically uh, sorry 2 2B into 4A. Sorry. So that is 8AB. That is 8K. Correct. So area here is bigger by what? The area here is bigger by 7K. This guy is K, this guy is 8K, the difference is 7K. That answer is C. Okay. So overall a pretty reasonably difficult, easy set, the kind of set that you would expect on a GRE. Again, with the caveat that these are old tests and the difficulty level of the test has slightly increased over the years. These are really old, as in 30 years old tests, right? But these are nonetheless good practice material for you. If you are not getting any of these questions right, what it means is that there is a conceptual error or conceptual misunderstanding, or you're not, or it may also be a silly mistake. Many times that also happens. Whatever it is, it's a good learning thing for you, in the sense that you will be able to realize that either I don't know this concept, or these are the type of questions where I tend to go wrong, or these are the type of mistakes that I tend to do. Okay. Either way, it's great learning material for you. So I hope you are solving these questions, and I'll see you in more such videos. Okay, thank you.